I talk, you listen, or you turn the channel. Either way, I'm still going to talk. Hey, welcome to Unfiltered. Another week, and I'm going to start tonight by mentioning a couple things I forgot to mention last week. Of course, the Super Bowl. At the end of the Super Bowl, I went home after work. Perusing through the TV channels, I came across Animal Planet. Had something on called the Puppy Bowl. Now, if anybody saw this, it was pretty much like Michael Vick's backyard for puppies. They had puppies in there. They were wrestling around and biting each other, and it was kind of cute, but I don't know. It's just, it looked like the exact same thing that Michael Vick got busted for, only a little less violent because they were only little puppies. So, oh, it's so cute, they're playing. Or they're fighting, depends on how you look at it. Also, last week was the 30th anniversary of the blizzard of '78. And for anybody that grew up in Keene like I did, that was a great, pretty much weekend. Actually, it happened on Monday. Sunday night into Monday, I believe it happened. Cars were abandoned on the interstates over in Massachusetts. I remember a buddy of mine and I were out walking while it was storming. And a lot of frat houses in Keene back then. There was one on Water Street where the shelter is now. And I don't know which frat it was, but we got the idea we were going to start a snowball fight with the college guys. And we were just little like 15, 16-year-old punks, you know. So we heaved a couple snowballs at the house and nothing happened. So we heaved a couple more. And a guy looked out the window and then the curtain shut again. So we said, oh, these guys aren't going to do anything. We threw one more, and no sooner had we thrown those last two that 12 guys came barreling out of that door. Pretty much buried us. It was great fun. But that's what we did the evening of the blizzard of '78. We walked around, we stood on the corner of Main Street right there at the Common and watched cars try to take off, spin in the snow. It was great. So anyway, that was a couple things that I had wanted to mention last week that I didn't. The Puppy Bowl, though, was just weird. And actually, you know, I'm glad the Patriots didn't win the Super Bowl because I saw just the other day on the news again something about the whole Patriots Spygate thing or whatever. And that would have hounded them over their Super Bowl victory. The whole fact that, oh my God, they used a satellite to spy on the Jets' plans or something. I don't know. But that's why you got to write in code when you're making out plays. That's why the X's and O's. You mix them up so that other people don't know what you're talking about. Same thing with baseball. That's why the catcher gives 20 signals behind home plate so the guy on second base doesn't steal it. So, anyway, what am I sending out? Is he sending out the card because it's useless? Oh, sorry. Is it me moving? Oh, all right. Just don't move, he says. Hold on. There, we'll see if that works. Maybe now? No? Still rubbing? Oh, well. All right. This week, the writer's strike is over. So we should have new episodes of TV shows by next week at the earliest. I mean, some of the stuff wasn't too bad without writers. The Daily Show, I didn't think got any worse without writers. I mean, Colbert Report, he did a few shows with no writers, and he's still funny. I don't know. Maybe TV would be cheaper if they weren't spending so much money. All right. What else happened this week? A major terrorist was killed this week. Oh yeah. Funny thing is, he was killed by a car bomb. His name was Imad Mugine. He was responsible for bombings in Lebanon back when the Marine barracks got bombed in '85, I believe, or in '80. 1985, he was responsible for hijacking of a TWA airliner in which a Navy, I believe a Navy SEAL was killed. The State Department had a price tag on his head for $5 million for information and stuff regarding his whereabouts and to bring him to conviction. But he died in a car bombing, which, I mean, you know, that's either he screwed up or somebody else screwed up, but I think it's funny. Sure beats waterboarding if we could just car bomb all the terrorists. Wait, is that torture? Oh no, quick death. More military-related stuff. It's funny because I started grabbing this stuff today, and I just came after military story after military story after military story. It was unbelievable. And we've got, I found this one, John Krakauer, who was the author of Into Thin Air and Into the Wild, is writing a book about Pat Tillman called Hero. And now Pat Tillman is the gentleman that left the NFL, a promising NFL career, to join the Army and fight in Afghanistan. And he was killed in a pretty controversial friendly fire incident in Afghanistan. So John Krakauer is going to write a book about it. Meanwhile, Tillman's mother, Mary Tillman, has written a book about an account of her son titled Boots on the Ground by Dusk. And that's due out in May. So I'll probably try and read both of them to get the story. But it was another one of those things, promising football player, you know, pretty much did the Elvis thing and gave up his career to join the military, and then was killed. So what else did I have for before crew call? I had a couple things. Oh, this one I found in the Sentinel today. Keene police officer Benjamin Nugent has received the 2007 Officer of the Year Award from the Keene Police Officers Association. He's been with the police department since September of 2005. And a press release from the association said, above all, Officer Nugent has displayed character and integrity in all of his work. The award's given to an officer who brings credit to the department and who goes above and beyond what's required by his or her basic assignment. The criteria for the award includes attendance, productivity, letters of merit, community involvement, judgment, sensitivity, decisiveness, and leadership. So that's Officer Nugent. Congratulations. Now, all right. I think they're running me a what are you running me another mic line, Bruce? Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's pretty dark over there for Rob, and as a new guy. Why don't we send Greg over to give him a hand, if you can. Or I can help. If you want to go into crew call, I'll dig out my own mic cord. How's that? All right. Okay, let me get into another story then. Let me do a camera one. All right, sure. Whatever you need, buddy. Some strange news briefs out of today's paper. This one I thought was kind of funny. If you're looking for a Valentine's Day, of course, Valentine's Day was yesterday. So if all you guys that just went, oh yeah, today's Valentine's Day, too late. You're already in the doghouse. But in New York City, there's a 50-year-old cab driver that refers to himself as Cupid. And does like a matchmaking service in his cab. He spent the past few years playing matchmaker to lonely New Yorkers, setting up more than 70 dates, and 19 have led to relationships that lasted more than 1 year. He planned to decorate his yellow cab with red and white hearts and roses on Valentine's Day. He says, I've organized so many dates and it really makes me feel good about it. I've not had one complaint. He offers his services to passengers he evaluates by listening to conversations and asking a few questions. He then exchanges phone numbers and email addresses. I want to know if they're the real deal or just a player. If you're a player, then forget about it. He's looking to set up like long-term romantic relationships, which is really cool. What else we got? We ready? All right.
I don't know how ready they are.
You guys ready in the booth?
I suppose.
All right. All right, how's that? Is that any better? No static? Now can I move around, Bruce? All right. Okay, well now if we can get ready for crew call after all the technical difficulties. Rob's got to get his comm plug back in. Yes, 2 is up, Greg. All right. Man, it's like we haven't been here for a month. But that's all right. We're training a new camera guy tonight. On camera 1, we have Rob Kays, who's joining us again. There you go, Rob. Be friendly. You'll be famous in school in no time. On camera 3, we've got Greg, as usual, with his shoes off. But that's all right. We've gotten used to that. And in the booth, Bruce and Andrea. Don't fight in there, guys. It's just a little technical crap. We don't.
Yeah, we're having fun tonight. Yeah.
You know, hey, it happens. I thought we had everything tested out.
I don't like technical difficulties. I stress.
That's what this show's built on, technical difficulties. But you know, how's things other than all the stuff going on in there?
Not too bad. We weathered the storm this week. It was not too much fun. I have more of a berm in the driveway now, so the car scrapes every time we go in and out. But eventually, I'm sure come April it'll be gone.
Oh yeah, May at the latest, I'm sure.
May at the very outside, but oh man, just all the ice on the roads has been horrendous. So.
See, and we can't have Groundhog's Day up here because the groundhogs can't even find their way out of their holes.
Yeah, I don't know too many groundhogs with snow shovels these days. But
No, or ice picks or anything else.
But, all right, well, we got your technical difficulty out of the way so people can hear you without crackling now. And
all right, and we wasted a little bit of time with that, so.
Well, they got to see the little behind the scenes. So.
Yeah.
Andrea's got some news about some NASCAR stuff that's been going on this week. We finally got Daytona kicking off, so we'll let her let you know.
Exactly, and when I walked in, before I headed down here, you guys were in the process of watching the Twin 150s.
Well, we were watching them because we didn't get a chance to see them yesterday. So we had to watch them from the recorded version today. But right now, this is the 50th running of Daytona, so this has been Daytona week all week long, and let me tell you what, Speed Week has been hell on wheels. It has been one interesting week. They were out there practicing, they got tangled up, and several cars were taken out, like Ryan Newman, Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, just to name a few. There tended to be like 11 cars involved. A bunch of them had to go to backup cars. And then Kurt Busch and Tony Stewart decided to have a little bit of an altercation, and they ended up having to go to backup cars. they are now on 6 weeks probation. I don't know what probation means, but they're on it anyways. They got a wrist slap. But probably one of the most exciting things that day was that when the Bud Shootout hit, Dale Jr. won. It was his first time out in a Rick Hendrick motorsports car, and he and his team members were in the top 5. He being the winner, and then I believe it was Jimmy Johnson came in second and Jeff Gordon in 4th. Now, this was Junior's first race win in the last 2 years, so it was really good for him. So that was just really exciting. You couldn't help but really just love it. Then they had qualifying later on in the week, and Jimmy Johnson took the pole for the 500, so he's definitely sitting on the pole no matter what. Michael Waltrip, who had so much trouble last year, is now, he scored on second, so he's on the outside front row. So that being said, they've had a lot of fun. Now, in between that qualifying and the Twin 150s, a total of 8+ motors between all of the cars out there had to be changed. All 4 of the Hendrick cars had to have an engine change. And then there were Childress engines to be changed. Tony Stewart had to have his engine done, and he actually went through 3 of them. He's on his 3rd one. Oh yeah, it was unbelievable. Now, the really cool thing is, in the first dual 150, Junior won that again. So it's like, woohoo, Junior's doing some good driving. But Kurt Busch had no points, so he had to either race his way in or he has to use a provisional. He'll be using a provisional, so it's either his engine or it was an electrical problem, which meant that it came down to Dale Jarrett having to race his way in because he couldn't take a provisional because Kurt Busch took it. Dale Jarrett raced his way in the second 150, and so he's into the race, which was really cool for him. And let's see, who else was it? Oh, John Andretti in the second one. Now, in the first one, oh my goodness, it was, Kenny Wallace. Kenny Wallace and Brian Vickers. Now, Kenny Wallace and Nemechek had, there's a lot of names. Kenny Wallace and Nemechek are basically just, now it's showing 2 cars, but they're basically just a single car owner. And I'll tell you what, Nemechek actually got himself locked in when qualifying because he almost had the pole. He had some really fast speed, so he locked himself in on speed. Kenny had to race his way in. He got in, so he is one excited little puppy. But I'll tell you what, like I said, it's been unbelievable. Now, Dario Franchitti is also in, and he is, believe it or not, your most current Indy 500 winner, and who has switched over to the NASCAR Cup racing. So like I said, there's been a lot of changes there and a lot of different names, and let me tell you what, it's been, like I said, it's a hell on wheels week. But the winner of the second 150, and Rick would kill me if I didn't mention it, was Denny Hamlin. Now, Rick sits up there with his little Denny Hamlin cup on his desk, and he gets it into the camera shot whenever he can.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. So we're kind of hoping that with all of our little, in living room bedding, there's about 6 of us this year, 6 or 7 of us, that we're hoping to take a little bit more of the money away from Tony this year and not let him walk away with so much.
I'm hoping Jimmy Johnson blows the engine every week.
Well, that's what happened to Junior last week.
Yeah.
Or last year, I should say. But anyways, like I said, there was a lot of NASCAR, so that's about it, and it's back to you, Rick.
Great. We'll look forward to hearing from you next
Now, I
week.
just wanted to let you know that for all you race fans out there, we do have starting tonight. We got the Craftsman Truck Race at Daytona, the Silverado 250, and then Saturday night is the Nationwide race at Daytona. So all three series are racing there, and then Sunday's the big show, the 500. But plenty of racing and plenty of wrecking going to be happening this weekend. So
Oh,
we're
yeah,
going to be
shame
glued
on
to the
me for not
we'll be glued to the TV. So
A lot of fun. A lot of
y'all
fun.
have a good time.
All right. So let's send Greg. Greg, Mike showed you how to get to the bunker, right?
Yeah.
All right, head on down. Remember the secret knock. Like Tarzan's in a good mood tonight, so we'll look forward to hearing from you in a few minutes. Hey, how come a guy that plays the piano is a pianist, but a race car driver is not a racist? Hold on. If it's true that we're here to help others, what are the others here for?
To help
Just a
us.
couple more. Not that one. Why do they put pictures of the criminals in the post office? Are we supposed to write to them? What they should do is put pictures of the criminals on the stamps so the postal workers can look for them while they're delivering the mail. All right. Whatever happened to preparations A through G? Never mind. Here's a good one for this time of year with income tax time approaching. Did you ever notice that when you put the two words together, the and IRS, it spells theirs? Yeah. All right, let's see. This is another email that I got from Andrea sent me this one. She said, you'll like this one. And it's quite long, so I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but it basically talks about how spoiled and easy young people have it. That's right, Rob. I'm talking about you, the under 30, under 20 crowd that think you got it so tough. And yeah, I even used to listen to my father. You know, we used to walk both ways to school, 20 feet of snow every day, uphill both ways, and icy. You know, and it still holds true today. As time goes on, everything changes. Like, for instance, where was a good one? Cable television. We had television back then, but we only had like 13 channels, or maybe 10 channels. 13 on the dial, but 10 actually broadcasting. And there was no on-screen menu. You didn't just push or set your TV to record something. You actually had to buy the TV guide and look it up. And you couldn't buy a TV guide in Massachusetts and use it in New Hampshire because all the channels were different. And we had no cartoon channel, no Nickelodeon. We had cartoons on Saturday mornings. Saturday mornings between 6 and 12 were cartoons. And if you didn't see cartoons at that time, you didn't see cartoons. You missed them for the whole week. If you missed them, you could kind of make up for it on Sunday morning by watching Davy and Goliath, but you had to get up really early in the morning. That was like 6 o'clock in the morning, though. And Gumby. That's right. Followed by Boomtown. Remember Boomtown? Funny thing. I noticed one of the shows we show here on Channel 8 called JoJo's Dream Car is the executive producer is Rex Trailer. Isn't that cool? Yeah. Well, there's some other things. The phones. We didn't have call waiting. If you were on the phone when somebody called, they got a busy signal, and they had to call back. And you didn't even know that they had called. We didn't have caller ID. So you just had to either not answer the phone, and even back then, no answering machines. So you couldn't just let the machine get it. It was you either pick it up or you take your chances and not pick it up, and 2 weeks later, your best friend says, "Oh man, I tried to call you on the phone, but nobody answered." You really missed it. We didn't have microwaves, so there was no 5-minute meals unless it was soup and grilled cheese, peanut butter or something. Oh, Greg's in the bunker? Good. What's one other thing? None of them. There was no email either. We had to actually walk to the mailbox and wait for a reply. All right, well, Greg has found Bruce assures me that Greg's found his way down to the bunker. And he's down there. And if you'll notice in the credits tonight, I've changed Tarzan's title from Jungle Expert. He is now our Military BS Decoder. So here from the bunker with Bunker Banter is a Bunker BS is Tarzan. Working out again?
What the hell's going on out there, Rick?
Man, do you ever stop working out?
I would never stop working out. Got to get the workout in. Got to compete with Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Sees how he does run the show, you know.
Nice. Oh yeah, yeah.
He was on a View with all those crazy chicks the other day, and he handled himself pretty well. He explained to him this, that, and the other thing. I thought he did a great job. You know, Rick, I wanted to say that 3,960 of our servicemen have died this week. Another abomination.
Jeez, it
Another
keeps-
number that's just out of control, and so am I when it comes to that freaking number. What can I tell you, bro? I don't have to like it. I'm not going to like it. You know, we got a Marine home. Marine. Right here, baby.
Yeah. Another one. That's
Sergeant
great.
J. Cameron. Been in the war zone over 18 and a half months over there providing convoy security with a mobilized unit 3643rd out of Concord, New Hampshire, which used to be a truck maintenance company. Now, how do you like that, Rick? After 9/11, they go from a truck maintenance company to just about a military-style police organization. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah. Yep.
It just goes to show what 9/11 did to this country, and it certainly took the National Guard and the Army aviation units over there to pull their bootstraps up and give them guys some protection around that base that they have over there. Because we got Blackhawks, we've got this, we've got that over there. And if anybody has a chance to take a tour or take a chance or nobody over there, I say do it. You know, this guy
Exactly.
extended his tour just to join another security force. And my hat's off to you, pal, and the other Marines that came home with you. You know, when the Marines reserves come home, they don't come home, they're not all from Peabody, Mass, or Concord, New Hampshire. It might be 5, might be 2 guys. You know, that's the way the Marine Reserve works. And if anybody can add anything to that, I'm sure they'll let us know, right, Rick?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Great.
right now, Rick, we got a thing called, boy, oh boy, roundabout intervention. Roundabout intervention, ladies and gentlemen. And it's about this roundabout we got here in the city of Keene. And it seems like the older people, according to the mayor's quote, the older people are afraid. And it just so happens they put our dear mayor's age right after his quote, of course, which was 70. Now, I don't know what you're afraid of, all you older folks out there, but, you know, there is a class that they're giving is learning to drive again, okay? And I'm sure that if you and your cronies, when you're sitting over there at the stage drinking your hot toddies, you can go get an application or get a couple of DVDs and learn how to drive again. Don't be afraid of the roundabout. Embrace the roundabout. The roundabout is ours now. We have no more problems. Can you hear me? Oh, my word. Driving again, Mr. Mayor. I don't know if you still drive, but I seen you the other day with your cane, and I hope you're okay, man.
No, the mayor still drives.
Oh, does he?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh. Well, hats off to you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
Well, it seems there's a little flap going on in the Milford Public Library. It's called Voodoo Valentine's Day Causes Flap for Library. Now, they want to set up these little voodoo dolls and give them out as Valentines. instead of little cards like little kitties and like husbands and their girlfriends get or give out. And I guess it's been squashed because we have some older people over there that scares them. They think that voodoo is going to burn the minds of our young children. I doubt it. Please. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your britches. We got the 50th. I said the 50th Daytona 500 coming up. Now, does everybody remember? Back then, Bobby Allison, Cale Yarborough,
Oh, yeah.
Donnie Allison, and his brother Bobby was coming to his rescue there, about to throw a helmet at Cale Yarborough laying on the ground. I can't wait for this season to start. I'm getting jacked up right now just talking about it. Woohoo! Got the Voodoo Valentines. And, you know, I just happened to be channel surfing today, you know, and I love my clicker, believe me, and my 14 TVs. But I happened to be clicking by, and I happened to catch Hanoi Jane Fonda with the vagina monologue lady who, wrote the book, the play, the freaking movie. And they're comparing New Orleans to this stupid book, this stupid whatever this woman goes on about on stage. And I'm not gonna give the audience what was talked about. They're comparing New Orleans to a private parts. Now, even the freaking mayor down there, which I've just about had it with him, he needs to shut his mouth, worry about the levies, get the freaking money going back there, and convict these people that are committing crimes down there.
Exactly.
We don't need you to talk about the vagina monologues, Mr. Mayor, or compare it to New Orleans. I'm sick of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I tell you what, you know, Kathleen Turner, I don't know if anybody remembers who the hell she is, but I just so happens because I'm that age. And, you know, she needs to go back to bed. You know, she was walking around on TV today like she was in her damn pajamas and trying to talk like she had just smoked 25 freaking Marlboros in a row. It's ridiculous. I don't even know how old she is. Now she's suing Nicolas Cage about a dog she said he stole 20 years ago.
Oh, I did see something about that, yeah.
Oh, my word. And I tell you what, that mayor down in Alice, Texas there, down in South Texas, she just quit her job. Now, if you remember right, I had told everybody how the mayor had said the dog Poodles, which she was supposed to be watching, had died.
Oh,
when
that's
actually
right.
the dog was 10 miles away at her twin sister's house.
That's right.
Come on, Mrs. Mayor. We know you knew better. Why you didn't is beyond me. And you know what? I got another word for Gary Dodds, and it's one word, Gary, guilty. You know, you walk around in the water, you stand there, while your feet purple, and the rest of you looks like Casper the freaking ghost. What's that all about, Gary Dodds? I don't understand this guy at all, Rick. If you listen to any of his freaking testimony,
I haven't heard much. I mean, I know the story's back in the news again, and I can't figure out why. Who cares? I don't know.
well, I don't know if it's because we care. We care to see this guy get the chair, maybe. But, well, not the chair. Okay, not the chair. Relax, you guys at home. God. He lied. In my eyes, he lied. And then he was on the stand today saying how he went to the freaking killing fields in New York and he did some kind of volunteer work over there. I sure the heck would like to find out if he really went to the killing fields. Because if this guy's lying about the killing fields, who's to say he wouldn't lie that he stole some M&Ms from the freaking convenience store?
Exactly.
come
Or crashed
on,
his
Dave.
car. He probably didn't even crash his car. It was probably just a setup.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice car he crashed, too. It looked like he couldn't have gotten hurt, man. I know the bags went off and all that, Gary. But you walked down into the pond or you stood in a bucket of ice and your feet chilled till they were black and blue. Give me a drug.
Yeah.
I'm out of here. Later, Tarzan. Say
Thanks,
hi.
Tarzan. Wow. I actually had one of my pizza delivery people I delivered to say, well, that Tarzan guy, he's kind of wound up, isn't he? Like, yeah, most of the time. But then he's got 2 teenage boys that are keeping him focused, you know? He's got his hands full there. And And what, he mentioned something that I was gonna mention. Of course, he brought up New Orleans, and apparently there's a big controversy now that FEMA is trying to get everybody that they gave trailers to. They're trying to get the people out of the trailers because of really high levels of formaldehyde in the trailers. Meanwhile, I saw another article that said there's thousands of those FEMA trailers left over parked in an airstrip in Hope, Arkansas. They're thinking about putting people that have been displaced by tornadoes, which have ravaged the South over the past couple of weeks. They want to put them in these new FEMA trailers so that in another year they can kick them out because they're breathing too much formaldehyde. So I don't know. What else? There was something else I was going to talk about. Charlestown. Let me hit Charlestown, because this is great. Charlestown is now my favorite town in New Hampshire, other than the one I live in. Apparently, Anton Zutter, 67. He's lived in Charlestown since 1981. He immigrated to this country when he was 16 years old, and he's 67 now. When he immigrated here at 16, he only knew about a dozen words of English. But him and his parents took pride in going to night classes to learn the language and become American citizens. He's making big news in Charlestown because he's petitioned to add a warrant article on the March town meeting ballot to make English the official town language. That's right. The official town language of Charlestown will be English. And if it passes, they say it's pretty much unenforceable. But he says he's not looking for uniformity, he's looking more towards unity. Because he sees everybody speaking different languages as just pulling the country apart, where the thing that brought us all together is our one common language. So he's, and that kind of stuff happens a lot in towns. They'll like add little warrant articles on the towns, on the little town stuff, but it holds no weight in like the state government or the federal government. But it's a chance for towns to actually be heard and let their position be known. Obviously Charlestown's saying we don't want to conduct our business in 50 different languages. We want to make all our town information, all our town bulletin boards, all our town signs in English. I mean, there was it Salem, I believe, last year, or somewhere over towards the seacoast had a problem with Spanish-speaking people smoking, drinking, and roughhousing on the beach, even though the signs prohibited it. And they said they couldn't read the signs because they didn't speak English. And the town says, well, I guess the town decided they weren't going to put up dual language signs on the beach. But Charlestown, if they pass it in their March town meeting, English will be their official language. We should do that in Keene. I believe the article I read said that New Hampshire has already made English the official state language. I believe that was done in '95. I think it said.
I thought it was done back in 1776, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Come to think of it, the Declaration of Independence and Constitution are both written in English. Seems like that should mean something. There's something that should mean nothing. Apparently, hotel rates are going to go up at the Hiltons again because there's been another DWI. Was in Paris, though. Surprise, surprise. It was her teenage brother. He was arrested at 8 o'clock in the morning, drunk, with a fake ID. Driving. Yeah. Unbelievable. And I mean, what do you do to this kid? He saw his sister go through a whole mess. All the stuff that she went through with the jail and the courts and all this crap. And he goes right along and drives drunk too?
Yeah, because she got to see all the stuff she got out of
I
because
think
of the name.
somebody needs to whip her parents. That's what needs to happen. I don't care if the guy's got $1,000 billion or how many hotels he has. One of his kids hits me drunk, I'll own everything he does.
What you actually need to do is parent the children.
Oh, see,
Because
people like the Hiltons
those
don't
of
have
us-
time to be
Those of us
parents.
who don't have any money, we parent our children.
People
Those
like
that
them don't have time
money-
to be parents.
No.
They've got time for her to spread her legs for half a minute every night and him to do his business and get the hell out of there and go on about his other business. And if a kid happens to pop up, well, they'll find a nanny or something to take care of the damn thing. And then just throw money at him. You know, the best clothes, the best cars, the best books. You know, here, you're rich. You deserve all this stuff. Don't worry about consequences. Whatever you do wrong, we'll get you out of. We can afford great lawyers. Meanwhile, simple guys
Hey,
are
Rick,
getting
I got a
busted
question
for crap
for you.
and having to go to jail. Yes,
I got a
dear.
question for you. Did you pay for your daughter to go to college, or did she earn her way?
Did I pay for my daughter to go to college?
Yeah, or did she earn her way?
I didn't pay anything for anything that my daughter's done in life.
Thank you. She earned.
I was a pretty horrible father, but yeah,
she
she's
earned
grown
her
up,
way.
and from the time she was a young kid, 6, 7 years old, she'd go with her grandfather and earn money and save it. And she had her own money, and she'd go and one of her grandfather's friends makes maple syrup in the wintertime and cleans up a beach, I believe, over near Forest Lake. And Sheena would go over and help him clean up the beach and make a little bit of money here and there. And yeah, I mean, kids have to be brought up to understand that the things that they earn, they earn. And if it's good things they earn, then they earn good things. And the bad things they earn, they pay for those too. You know, I mean, and it's not just the kids. You can't say it's just the kids or it's the way the kids are brought up. And in a family like the Hiltons, like I said, there's no time to raise their kids. If their kid needs a haircut, Chris, when I needed a haircut when I was a kid, my stepmother would get out the shears. There was no sending me to the hairstylist for $8,000 for a haircut. You know, none of that crap. Oh well, but that's enough about him anyway. Here's another thing that's driving me nuts. 4.5 hours on Wednesday, I watched Congress grilling a baseball player and his trainer. What I want to know is what the hell Congress has to do with baseball. Congress should keep its face out of baseball or just say no more baseball. Plain and simple. I'm pretty sure George Bush didn't call George Steinbrenner and that other Bud Selig, the commissioner of baseball, and say, what do you think we should do about Osama bin Laden? Pretty sure he didn't call all the baseball owners together and say, well, we got a terrorist problem. You think we should bomb them and attack Iraq or what? No, they didn't ask the baseball guys that. Congress took care of that. And now there's this whole hearing. Apparently there's been millions spent on this Mitchell report to find out what baseball players are using steroids and HGH and which ones aren't. Meanwhile, you've got guys like George Steinbrenner with $1 billion payroll paying these guys and telling them, you know, you'll make more money if you could play just a little bit better. You know, bullcrap. What needs to happen is these $1 million contracts have to be done with. They have to say, if you want to play baseball, that's fine. But we're not going to pay a baseball player any more than $50,000 a year. Because that's all they're worth. Football players, the same thing. Hockey players, well, of course, hockey players make $100 a week regardless. They've never made anything worth crap, and they've got the toughest sport around.
Isn't there better things we could be spending our tax money on than policing a sport?
Well, you would think that there would be.
I mean, isn't getting our kids out of Iraq more important than who the hell took steroids 20 years ago?
Well, apparently, after we spent all the money in Iraq, we still had a little bit left over to play with, so they said, well, let's check on the steroid thing, because that seems to be what people are talking about. Meanwhile, The View had Hulk Hogan on, like Tarzan said the other day. They didn't ask him one thing about steroids. Not one question about the steroid thing. I mean, I thought the whole congressional thing was retarded, personally. They've got the trainer saying, oh, yeah, I injected Roger Clemens with steroids and HGH and all these other different stuff. Roger Clemens says, the only thing I ever got injected was B12 shots and lidocaine. And the trainer goes, I never injected him with lidocaine. I mean, you're going to tell everybody you injected him with steroids and banned substances, but you won't admit to a pain shot? How ridiculous is that? And of course, where's my card? I didn't write it down. It was, I believe the Republicans seemed to be on Roger Clemens' side, and they were like screaming about how this trainer was a liar and this and that, and he's told so many truths. And the Democrats all seem to be calling Clemens a liar. So here it is. I mean, we don't even have to be in an election or talking about a war or abortion or anything like that to separate this country. All we have to do is put two people up there. One guy goes, he said this, he said that. Who cares? You know? You want to end steroid use in sports? End sports. Plain and simple. Tell everybody, lay around, smoke pot. Nobody has to be big and bad to smoke pot. You lay around, and then it becomes who can become the fattest. You know?
We already got that competition going on in this country.
We do have that competition. Unfortunately, most of the pot smokers I know aren't fat because their metabolism from smoking pot just keeps them hungry and skinny. But I mean, it's and 4.5 hours. That's longer than most of the president's strategy meetings on the war. Unbelievable. Congress, keep your friggin' nose out of that. Why don't you go back and investigate Watergate or something? I don't know. There still must be. I think that was a conspiracy that never got uncovered. I don't think Nixon had anything to do with that. All right. Here's something, since I mentioned becoming fat again, here's something really going to blow your mind if you're really into all the preventative medicine stuff. Dutch researchers published a study last week demonstrating that preventative medical care does not save money. In the study, it found that smokers died at an average age of 77 with health care costs $100,000 less than non-smokers who were thin and died at age 84. Obese people died at an average age of 84 with $50,000 less medical costs than skinny people that died at 84. So obese people died 4 years earlier, and it saved them $50,000. Smokers died 7 years earlier, saved themselves $100,000. So start smoking, and you'll save money, actually. Healthcare costs, because the reason is that we'll prevent one disease just long enough for the body to get something else. And the longer you live, the more it's going to cost to get buried in the future. So medical costs are always on a rise. The older you get, the more it costs for medical bills. You know, it all points right back to my, my death day thing, where I think everybody should have, at a certain age, it's a cap, and you're capped. We say sorry, and there's, no super duper medical expenses,
You gonna start retiring people on their 65th birthday or something?
No, you
Soylent Green?
you would retire at like 55 and then have 10 years to enjoy without working. And then they off you, yeah. And all the money that's saved goes into the system where, and you wouldn't draw Social Security for 40 years. That's the problem with our society, with our Social Security system. People pay in for 40 years, and 100 years ago, they died by the time they hit 70. So they only collected 5 years worth of Social Security. These days, you start collecting at 65, you're lucky if you die at 100. And you've just collected way more than you put in. And that's the problem with Social Security. We keep stretching people's lives longer, which means we have to pay them longer. Shorten their lives, you save Social Security. Save the country. Anyway, that's just goes to show you, the longer you live, the more expensive shit gets. Meanwhile, Florida, a place called DeLand, Florida, as well as some places out in, I believe, around Phoenix, Arizona. There are a couple, I believe, going into Colorado. Multi-generational communities. And they're, the place in Florida, in DeLand, Florida, is called Victoria Park. And what it is it's a community. Part of the community is a gated, elderly-only AARP community called Victoria Gardens. And at the same time, less than 5 minutes away, is an area for single home families. So that families don't, kids buy a house in Victoria Hills, which is the young people section, and the parents live in Victoria Gardens. And it's 5 minutes away, they see each other all the time. And years ago, that's the way everybody lived. When you moved out of your parents' house, you didn't move 500 miles away. You moved across the street or down the block.
As far as you could carry your stuff, right?
Or your parents built you a house on the back 40. And you lived on the family land. But there's no family land anymore. That's the government took it all, exactly. Yeah. And, but this is, I think it's a great idea, really, to keep families together. Of course, a lot of people, once their folks get older and they're in their own places and settled, I've seen a lot of people, the in-law apartment above the garage, or the east wing of the place, or someplace to keep family close. That's what it is. Less people are having kids these days. Less people are wanting kids. Because at this point, kids are pretty much a liability to a family. All a kid's going to do is cost you money. Where 100 years ago, you had a lot of kids because you had a lot of work to do. And you had family to do the work. But it's not like that anymore.
I must have raised a bunch of odd ducks because they got a lot of kids between them all.
You just spawned some real fertile boys, that's all.
Oh, you think?
That's the way I am. I just think about getting with a woman and she gets pregnant. It's tough. That's hurt me a couple times in life. Well, once anyway that I know of. But no, I heard from Sheena the other day too. She's doing really well. She hasn't got less than a 93 on any of her tests. So yeah, she's doing fantastic. And still working at Petco over there, full-time job, full-times are, I guess school isn't so full-time, but she's doing well. I'm real proud. So yeah. All right, what else do I have? Multi-generational FEMA, I did that one. Here's a good one. I got like 5 minutes or so. Marijuana bill passes in Vermont. This is good stuff. Vermont Senate on Wednesday voted to scrap jail terms for first or second time offenders caught with up to an ounce of marijuana. Gives initial approval to a bill that would give these people fines or send them to court diversion programs. Currently, the Vermont law calls for those caught with up to 2 ounces of marijuana to be given up to 6 months in jail and up to a $1,000 fine. This new bill would give those caught with up to an ounce a choice. They could either pay a $500 fine for the first offense, $750 for second offense, and have a criminal record. Or they can go to a court diversion program, which would result in no criminal record, but would likely require counseling and community service, which I guess is fair. An initial version of the bill would have decriminalized possession of or sale of up to 4 ounces, but they scaled it back. So it's funny because this Senator Dick McCormick, Democrat from Windsor, started his little spiel on the topic with a little bit of a sense of humor. He said, I'm not so naive as to think that marijuana is a completely harmless drug. He said it's responsible for some of the worst poetry ever written. And as a musician, he can tell us that it wreaks havoc on a drummer's ability to keep tempo. So yeah, keep your drummers drunk and away from the pot, and you'll be all set. He added, though, after that, the harm that's done to people's lives that smoke pot doesn't come from smoking pot. The problem in their lives doesn't come from lighting up the joint, it comes from getting caught. So, that's, but yeah, I mean, I think it's good. The whole war on drugs is stupid, you know, especially, I mean, now we got Congress looking into guys taking steroids, you know? Why doesn't Congress look into people that are shooting heroin and cocaine and crack and things like that, as well as steroids? You know, let's focus on the baseball players, the football players on steroids, and
any of the man-made drugs need to be gotten rid of.
Yes, exactly. Any of the man-made drugs. I don't have time to go into this story. I'm coming up on 1 minute. Yes, I am coming up on 1 minute. Great, and we're doing something different tonight. There will be nothing between us and Randy tonight, Randy and Chris. Yeah. All right. Let me find my right card here. What did I do with my card? There it is. I want to thank my crew for being here. Rob, you're learning. You're doing a great job. Yeah. Don't mind Bruce. He yells at everybody. Greg, Bruce, and Andrea. Tarzan did another great segment. I want to thank Lee and Nick, Cheshire TV. Thank my sponsors, Mom's Tattoo and Gemini Screen Print. Thank everybody for watching. Coming up in exactly 1 minute, No Spin. Chris and Randy are going to have Fire Chief Gary Lamro talking about all the hot fire department issues that are going on right now, the new station, manpower, anything having to do with fire station. Chris and Randy coming up next. Till next week. Peace.